Hey folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today we're going to be playing Shoop's Mono-White Rip Helm deck, which is sort of an interesting take on the Mono-White Stompy archetype. So this archetype has existed for a long time in various forms. Sometimes it's just the traditional Chalice and Trinisphere stuff. Sometimes you go down the suppression field stuff and you kind of go more of a tribal route with something like soldiers. But today we're essentially playing with a whole lot of cards that cost an unreasonable amount of mana. So starting with the most traditional part of the shell, in these Stompy decks, you pretty much always have like the Ancient Tomb, the City of Traders for mana acceleration, and then maybe a Chrome Mox or Mox Diamond as well, followed by Chalice of the Void and Trinisphere as the traditional lock pieces. Now, this deck is also using Rest in Peace, which is pretty good against a good portion of the format. You know, it stops your Uros, makes Murktide Regent a much more embarrassing card. Your Dragon Rage Channelers don't get bigger. And then sometimes you get paired against something like Dredge and just totally get a free win for having 4 copies of Rest in Peace in your main deck. So that Rest in Peace just isn't an embarrassing lock piece on its own, though, it's also running 4 copies of Helm of Obedience. And if you have Rest in Peace and Helm in play at the same time, you win the game because your opponent just mills all of their cards. Now, that's kind of the core of the deck, and then we play a whole bunch of like recently printed cards. So we're going to play Urza's Saga as one of our primary finishers just because it plays so well with Ancient Tomb. And there's going to be plenty of hands where we can just like not even play a lock piece and just go like Urza's Saga turn 1, Ancient Tomb turn 2, activate, get a Retrofitter Foundry, and just try to ride that to victory, just doing that alone. And our artifact count will also increase a decent amount because we are playing things like Chalice and Trinisphere as well. And I guess I don't want to do that. And after that, we have the ability to become the Monarch with Court of Grace, which if you're the Monarch, well, okay. At the beginning of your upkeep, you make a 1/1 Spirit creature token with flying. If you're the Monarch, you create a 4/4 White Angel creature token with flying instead. So you can make some very powerful creatures here. And this deck is also playing Humility, so that all your opponent's cool utility creatures don't actually end up doing anything. I am a little worried with the average converted mana cost of this deck. I am not going to lie. I am worried about just having a lot of hands where we get wastelanded once and then we don't really do anything the rest of the game. Because we are playing 12 4-drops. 2 7-drops, which sometimes we'll use as lands instead, and a handful of 5-drops that we can also pitch cast. But if we don't have Court of Grace going to fill us with cards, we actually don't have that many white cards. Like there's enough to be playing Solitude probably, but this isn't like a deck like Death and Taxes where like you have 4 vials, 3 pieces of equipment, and then like every other card in your deck is white. We're surprisingly low on white sources for a deck that's playing 4 pitch cards. Like compare the math to like Math of Force of Will, for example. And it's a little light, bearable, but a little light. We also have one more alternative win condition, and that is Kahira. Now, generally speaking, I've made it known that I'm not the biggest fan of companions. It's kind of a free roll here with the deck design because the only creature we have in the main deck is Solitude, which is an elemental. So the idea of playing this is that you can just like keep a hand that purely has like Chalices, Trinispheres, Rest in Peace, and stuff like that, and you still technically have something that you can win the game with. But a 3/2 Vigilance is not, you know, it's not particularly good. It's something, but I am not very convinced that we're going to end very many games by just attacking with that. Especially since in some of the fair matchups, like say Maverick or Depths or Death and Taxes, it's just going to get bounced anyway. Because we don't have a ton of removal in game 1, we have Source of Plowshares for the creature decks where we're likely to board out Chalice of the Void. We have Moat, which will win some matches on its own, but for against Delver, for example, you know, your Delvers fly, your Murktides fly, your Dragon Rage Channelers fly. So I don't know actually how impressed I am with Moat. We'll see how it feels in action. And then we have a handful of other hateful artifacts, notably the Pithing Needle and the Grafdigger's Cage here can come into play off of the Urza's Saga, and the Torpor Orb, while shutting off our Solitudes, is a pretty good bullet against something like Death and Taxes, or even better, Doomsday, where it shuts off the text of Thassa's Oracle. I'm excited to give this one a go because I really enjoy playing these styles of deck, but I'm a little worried that there's going to be a lot of games where we just kind of flop around and die because, like, this we have 12 4-drops, and that's just so much. Anyway, I hope you enjoy. If you end up wanting to try this one out, the deck list will be in the video description, as is my donation information. If you're new here, consider subscribing for Legacy, Modern, and Vintage all the time. And if you're a regular, throw me a like before we get started. It's the easiest way to support my content. Let's battle. Okay, while we're gearing up, I don't think I explicitly talked about this. One of the reasons why I'm so concerned about all of these 4-drops is that this deck plays both Urza Saga and City of Traders, which are lands that are going to disappear over time. And I'm just, like, very nervous about trying to cast all of these expensive cards when that's something that I'm going to, need to be keeping in mind. This hand gets to do either a turn 1 or a turn 2 Trinisphere, depending on how quickly I feel like I need to go. Quickly is probably the answer here. So we are probably playing... Oh, thank God. That is such a fantastic fucking draw. Oh my God, I'm so happy to draw that. I cannot overstate enough how important that draw was. My mana was super awkward. Alright, I don't think I need to play Helm next turn. I think I'm going to be kind of like sitting on a Caracas for a good portion of this game. I think I'm going to discard the City of Traders accordingly. Alright, and we'll get a 3-ball in play. So the cool thing about this Ancient Tomb now is, like, a little bit later on, it's not necessarily going to have to shock me in order to do its thing. Okay. So my hope here is that my opponent just doesn't, like, naturally have pieces in hand. Yep. I mean, this has become the plan. This is fine. And I guess I'll just loop down another one of these for... Well, I could just put this idiot in my hand this turn. Yeah, I'll do that. I don't think I need the redundant Trinisphere right now. Although playing the redundant Trinisphere means that my constructs are one bigger. It's a bit of a wash. Yeah, that's fine. I'll go to 16. That's a lot of Trinisphere. I do not think I need to show this Caracas yet. I'm going to wait one more turn on showing that. Yep, so let's just go land go, make a construct, make another construct, and then be holding up Caracas. Some sort of crop rotation style card here. Yeah, that's fine. Yep. I have a Pithing Needle in the main deck. I guess I'll find out in just a second. Alright, so I make my construct, and I'm gonna just take a quick look at the deck list. No, I have a Relic Progenitus and a Retrofitter Foundry. I think I'm just dead. So my opponent will make the idiot. I will have Caracas. Do I have any outs? Humility. I can draw a Humility or a Solitude. I should get Relic of Progenitus and use it to cantrip. So if I am going to do that, it would cost me these two to make a construct, and then it would cost me 3 mana to cast a spell through Trinisphere, so I do not have the mana to... Solitude isn't an out. It has to be Humility, and I need double white. It would be 4 mana for Humility. Okay. So I'm just going to float a mana here. So they're going to make this now to play around Pithing Needle, which makes sense. Alright, so take a Relic. Exile all these graveyards. Can I rip Helm? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. And it would cost me 7 to do that. So I can't actually do that. Now we see if my opponent misses the obvious. And they do not miss the obvious. And I am dead. Game 2. Alright. Swords to Plowshares are coming in. Pithing Needle is coming in. That's probably about it. If I'm bringing in swords and it's important to my game plan, that probably means that I have to cut the Chalice. Relic of Progenitus becomes a lot weaker if I bring in Pithing Needle, because I'm going to want to get Pithing Needle most of the time. I'm unsure if I actually want to leave myself with the ability to get a redraw. I also don't particularly think Trinisphere is great here. It can slow my opponent down, but if I'm trying to hold up things like Swords to Plowshares, it becomes very awkward for me sometimes. Solitude as well. And maybe I go... Court of Grace will, in theory, be pretty good. Provides chump blockers. Yeah, I'm going to go down one of these, but then I don't think there's anything else I really want to bring in. Like, I don't know that I want to go this route or anything. It's a fast clock. Maybe I do. Well, I don't like want to bring it in, but I don't think my Trinispheres are particularly great. Okay. So, does this hand actually do anything? I have 2 mana on turn 1. I can use it to play a Rest in Peace or a Relic. Neither one of those things is particularly good here. I don't have the mana for Court of Grace. I have a Solitude, but I think I mulligan this hand. I don't see this winning. I guess. Sure. I probably just throw back a land here. Probably the pseudo land Amaria's Call. I believe I am just going to play Urza Saga on turn 1 as a way to start working towards a Pithing Needle. Okay. So be it. Do it again. See if we get Wastelanded again. We would actually love that since this is a redundant Caracas. Yep. So my opponent is going to have the ability to tutor with that, but not to make it larger because of Rest in Peace. Okay. I would say I am definitely the dog in this matchup currently, especially now that my opponent actually that is not going to be put into the graveyard from play. Yeah, this sucks. So, like, I can play this Court of Grace, draw a card with it, let my opponent become the Monarch, make a 1/1, let my opponent get a second card with it. But I don't think I have time to just, like, put Kahira into hand and then play Kahira and then play Court of Grace. So I think I'm just going to slam this stupid thing and see if it works out. This is a sub game that I really don't want to be starting, but I don't think I have much of a choice here. Well, fuck me, I guess. I have started the Monarch sub game, and now I have no ability to like get another creature in play. And as the little cherry on top, my opponent got rid of the Rest in Peace, so they actually do get to ramp with Flagstones. Existence is pain. All right. Life's bad. It's 3 mana. Okay, that makes sense. I can make it smaller. Oh, shit. Yep, life's bad, all right. Opponent is now the Monarch. They'll have 2 creatures to my 0. Yep. We're dead. We're absolutely just stone cold dead. So, like, opponent will be able to make the stuff off Dark Depths and Wasteland me off Caracas in all likelihood. I think I'm supposed to leave this up rather than put the Kahira in my hand, but it's kind of close. Just make some of my opponent's lines a little more awkward. I guess the way I'm not dead is just, like, ripping a Helm off the top of my deck before my opponent hits me for 20. But I don't exactly have card draw or manipulation or anything. Fuck. Alright. Alright. I get it. I'm gonna get hit for 1. Oh, no, not even 1. Just leaving up all the shields. Helm? Not Helm, but a good card. Don't need to tap this Ancient Tomb, right? I don't think so. Alright, so now I will take a long time to die instead of a short amount of time. I guess if my opponent has another Force of Vigor, it matters that I leave up in the Caracas. But I think if my opponent answers this Humility in this turn cycle, I'm just so screwed anyway. Like, the Caracas doesn't matter at that point. Sure. Okay. Alright. My opponent has a floating green mana here. Nope, I'm not getting Force of Vigored. Not getting anything. Cool. I will just take a slow, painful death to these instead. While I am beating my opponent cards. Alright. Go ahead and put this cat thing in my hand. And deploy it. The 6 mana 1/1 companions are good. Also gonna lose this Urza, so I guess I'm not actually gonna get constructs out of it. Well, it's in fact worse than that. Alright. Yep. Everything is awful. Yep. Yeah, my opponent can just sit and draw cards forever and then poop out constructs, and I will get overwhelmed and die. Because everything. The worst part here is I can't concede, because at any point I could just luck sack into a Helm and win this. Alright. Urza Saga ticks up. Yep. Okay. I think at some point my opponent does need to start sending some idiots in. Like, I know that they are, like, very clearly in the better position, but if I just draw a Helm. Okay. Alright, 3 ball. Go. Alright. So, there's their construct. Oh, it looks like they're going to take some damage with, a lot of damage with Sylvan Library, in fact. Alright. Now they're going to copy a Dark Depths and get their Merit Lodge. This is still legendary. I can go ahead and kill that. That is the most work I think I've ever seen for 1 life. You've got it. My opponent said, okay, now I'm just doing stupid stuff. I mean, we've all been there. Sure. Okay. Alright. So that doesn't have its abilities because of humility, luckily, so that doesn't answer the humility. Alright, they fucking figured it out. Guess I don't trade. I think, like, maybe there's some world where I don't know. I don't feel like my decisions matter. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like 4 go to 10, and then there's a 2-turn clock. I guess I'd trade with one of these. Could also do some block bounce shenanigans, but I don't know. I feel like I've got 2 draws to get Helm, or I lose. My opponent also can't have Force of Vigor at any point here. Alright, I'll take out one of these creatures. Doesn't matter too much which one. It's like they're all 1/1s. I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be the construct, or if the... Well, no, if the humility is removed, I am... yeah, maybe it's supposed to be this one. Again, though, if the humility leaves play, I'm dead for a number of different reasons. Sure. Okay. Alright. I go down to 6. So if my opponent plays another creature, I'm dead on board. Yep. Alright, so it has to be this draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess I could Court of Grace into exactly Swords to Plowshares. Alright, so I become the Monarch. Means I get a draw at my end step to see if it's Swords to Plowshares. Nope, it's Stratosphere. Alright, 6 damage on board. I am dead. GG's. Okay, round 2. We have an opening hand. Like, do I keep this because I have, like, Retrofitter Foundry plus Humility? This doesn't feel like a good hand, but I guess? Like, I don't know. Like, we have a way to repeatedly make creatures, and we have something that makes all the creatures the same size. I guess that's a keep. I don't know. I'm not super on board with what's going on here, but having the Humility hand versus Death and Taxes is pretty hot. I'm not going to play Solitude. I'm just going to assume that my Retrofitter Foundry creatures will, like, because I'm going to end up playing Humility on my turn 4 unless Thalia gets involved. I don't think I need to, like, pitch cast the Rest in Peace here. The real question is, like, do I just make a creature now? I think I just make a creature now rather than play the Rest in Peace. Like, we're not expecting Death and Taxes to have anything that mucks with the graveyard. I'm also not expecting to see Phyrexian Revoker in my opponent's deck list, just kind of based on recent trends. That is a wee bit annoying. That's going to get an activation unless I draw an Ancient Tomb. Yeah. Go ahead and make this. Oh, thank God. I cannot overstate how incredibly fucking lucky that was. That draw step was the difference between winning and losing this game, like, very easily. Now we have a whole lot of time. And I can cast this Solitude to kill the Germ token that will be attached to, whatchamacallit, Cauldron Complete if my opponent actually gets to 7 mana to disrupt it. Yep, that is a 1/1. You have a Rishadan port! You have a Rishadan port! Oh my god. Gonna be one of those rounds, is it? Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and Mox Diamond and discard a Plains here. Go ahead and put this into my hand, I think. And then we'll go ahead and just deploy this so I can get the freebie win off at some point. And then every turn from here, we'll just basically make a 1/1. Okay. Nice 1/1. Feels good. I love the part where the opponent is not messing with my mana so that I get to just win if that happens. Yep. Thanks for not wastelanding me or porting me. I do appreciate it. Are you going to let me look at your whole deck? You are going to let me look at all your flex slots. I do appreciate that. Alright, Sanctum Prelate is in there. Spirit's in there. Skyclave, there's a Solitude. So Prelate, Solitude, no Revoker. 1 Skyclave? Really? I guess that could be 1 in hand. Alright, any weird flex land? No, not really. Okay, cool. Alright, Null Rod Needle, Torpor Orb, Swords, Moat, maybe Gideon? Gideon's like definitely a maybe. So I 100% don't want to be playing Chalice of the Void. I probably don't want to be playing Trinisphere. Assuming I bring all this stuff in, that would mean I still need 2 more cuts. The Relic of Progenitus can be cut very easily. I have better Retrofitter Foundry targets now. But I'm not sure. Let's sort this out. Am I supposed to cut 1 court because I'm not wanting to draw that super early? My opponent is, if things go my way, having a bunch of 1/1s, probably more 1/1s than I do the vast majority of the time. Like, I happen to open up on Retrofitter Foundry that time, but that's not always going to happen. Yeah. I wonder if I'm supposed to just trim one of those. I could bring in the Gideon over a court as well, just because, like, this produces tokens and whatnot. Gideon is this sort of thing, like, in a like Death and Taxes mirror or pseudo mirror, kind of like this. Like, it's a fine card. It doesn't usually get to physically attack in itself because of opposing Karakas, and it's a little easy to pressure. Not sure how I feel about that ultimately, especially on the draw. I also don't really like Court of Grace on the draw though, so Alright, this is probably going to be a keep, and I'm going to have to decide how quickly I want to try and play out this hand. Alright. Servile resolves. Ancient Tomb. Alright, so do I want to play this out like the Urza Saga way, or do I want to play this out the Rest in Peace way? And just play like tap Temeria, turn 2 Ancient Tomb, Rest in Peace, turn 3 Helm, activate. I can just go for like that Goldfish route. I think that's better than trying to grind this out with Urza Saga. I would not like to play 3 life. And then I'm just going to kind of keep Urza Saga as the backup plan for if things get a little weird, if like Mana Denial or Thalias and such start to get involved. But hey, Mana Denial. Sure. If I draw a white card, I will probably remove this in case some of my plans fall apart. But I'm not willing to pitch the Rest in Peace because it's so tied to what I have going on here. A Mox Diamond. That's pretty cool. Point where I just give up on Urza Saga. Weird spot. Because I have like Port to think about, I have Flicker Wisp to think about, I have Skyclave to think about, Wasteland to think about, I have Thalia to think about. I think I'm gonna hold the Mox Diamond. Oh geez, this spot is weird. I can avoid 2 points of damage if I play the Mox Diamond, but then I start running into some like Flicker Wisp type issues. I'm just going to play it. Like, if my opponent expends those sorts of resources on things other than my combo, I think I'm good with that. Alright, so I play the Rest in Peace, and I'll play my Ancient Tomb. So, given how my opponent played last time, there's a very good chance that they, like, won't just Rashad import me. They didn't last time around. They might just say, like, I'm going to try to flip Cauldron into play and just kill you. Hope they don't have it. Because, like, my opponent did not play very conservatively last game. The world is their oyster with an Ether Vial. Yep. Alright, they're probably dead. They even beat Thalia. Phyrex Invoker isn't very commonly played right now. Yeah. Yep. Okay. This should be GG. Is there anything I can play around or, like, don't want to play around? I think I play Caracas over City in case I have to try this again next turn. I don't think I will. Like, I think this is just the end for my opponent. Yep. Alright. GG's. I think, both of my opponent's losses there were probably avoidable. Yep, and there's the concession. GG's. Hey folks, Phil from the future here. I recommend skipping round 3. Essentially what happens is my opponent becomes the Monarch, and I still have outs, so I continue playing, but it is incredibly, incredibly boring. And the commentary is not particularly good because it is just not a fun round. So I recommend skipping it unless you're a real Phil completionist. Alright, we have a hand with 4 lands, 3 spells, and the ability to cast the Helm of Obedience on turn 2. This doesn't look acceptable. I'm going to mulligan it. This also looks terrible. We're going to mulligan this one. 5-card hand also looks pretty bad, but at this point I probably just need to keep. I am throwing back a Trinisphere for sure, and then I guess I'll throw back the Court of Grace. I have no ability to defend it currently. Which I think, just generally speaking, is kind of a problem with this. And now it's a question like, do I want to save Amaria's Call for turn 3 and take 3 damage, or do I want to just play it now and potentially have it wastelanded? Legit unsure about that. I think I'm going to play it now and respect my life total. But that's a real decision. Okay. So we're probably playing against some sort of like Miracles or Bant style deck. Obviously blue fetch lands are pretty ambiguous, but that's usually my first thought when I see a Flooded Strand. Okay, Court of Grace came back. Very cool. Thank you, Court of Grace. Okay, yeah, we're leaning more and more towards that like blue fair control archetype right now. Okay. Maybe an Ice Fang Coatl flavored version. I think I'm in pretty bad shape if we are playing against some sort of Bant deck. I'm down a couple cards from the mulligan, and I'm just not feeling super good about, like, the tools I have for that sort of matchup. Like, this Trinisphere, for example, like, would you counter it given the opportunity? Or would you just be like, yeah, okay, that's fine. We did get a counter out of it. Sylvan Library is going to eat me alive. I have no ability to pressure my opponent's life total. Right, my opponent didn't take any cards there. And they don't have the ability to clear the top this turn. I guess that's nice for me. So I'll play this as a land. I will pay the life. Now, which way are we doing this? I guess this way. I'm not happy about it. It's like there's a very real chance that I'm about to see an Ice Fang Coatl and my opponent will take the Monarchy back. My experience is that the Monarch is super risky in these sorts of situations. But I think I'm so far behind that I just kind of have to hope they can't take it in this turn cycle. Alright, it was an Endurance instead of an Ice Fang. Yep. Okay. Cool. But playing the Humility didn't really do anything. Playing the Helm really didn't do anything. Putting Kahira in my hand really didn't do anything. Yeah. I just don't like this deck. I was not a fan. I just don't feel like we're a very good Court of Grace deck. We don't have something like Ensnaring Bridge that really works together with Court of Grace to be a lockout punch. And, like, all my opponent is going to do is, like, once I have a 1/1 that can attack, they just, like, don't attack with Endurance, and I don't get to take this back. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. I guess I play a Retrofitter Foundry and activate it in this turn cycle, and then I have 2 creatures for next turn. And then I can try to play a Humility, make it so that I trade more favorably with the Endurance. Cool! Alright, so now I am not going to get to become the Monarch next turn. My opponent will just continue to draw cards with my card, which is great. Alright. Okay. Alright, so opponent gets some bonus life, bonus land drop. Something that is a real problem for me next turn. I think I am supposed to take 6 here in an attempt to become the Monarch. So I'll make my 1/1 idiot. And I think if this Humility gets countered, I'm pretty dead. Let's try it. I'd like to do this pre-attacks to just get a better feel for how this turn cycle is going to go down. Okay, it did resolve. So now the next question becomes, how many things do I attack with? If it's 1, then an Endurance or an Ice Fang is bad for me. I already used 2 Endurances. Gonna do 1. Yeah. The Sylvan Library is going to provide so much selection and potentially card draw. This plan is so glacially slow. Sure, that's fine. Alright, so they picked up an Uro. Which is exceptionally bad right now. Well, maybe not exceptionally bad. The 3 mana 1/1. Okay, cool. I mean, I guess in good news, my 4 drops are still there. Okay. This is going to be that 1/1 Uro coming back from the graveyard. Yep. So now I don't get in this turn with this stuff. I guess I'm trading these because my life total is in jeopardy. I think that's better than trying to play for a Swords to Plowshares off the very top of my deck. Alright, in you go. The City of Traders is better than a Mox Diamond. Mox Diamond can be junked. I could also just get and play Kahira in this turn cycle. I guess I'll do that. Alright. I think I will make the offensive attack here. This is pretty miserable to pilot. This is me just watching my opponents draw cards every turn. And it takes forever, because I also play something that makes my opponent kill me more slowly. Okay, my opponent's willing to take more with Sylvan Library. Okay. Rough. That means I lose a Spirit token every turn, or my opponent gets to Brainstorm. Okay. Oh no, they're going straight into Fate Seal mode. Oh, it does not tell me anymore whether or not that went to top or bottom. That sucks. That's, like, extremely important information. Wow, that's very frustrating. Alright, I'll go with them. It seems like they are going to have another flash creature. Because they didn't just bounce one of my tokens here. Yep. And now they just bounce the token, so I can't take the Monarch back on the next turn. I think this is a time where I try to get lucky with Helm of Obedience. Force pitching an Uro. Do I play another immediately? At the cost of my City of Traders. The City of Traders is quite good right now. I don't think I do. I don't know, maybe I do. The 2 life is so incredibly relevant right now. But so is getting literally 1 more body into play so that I can take back the Monarchy. I'm gonna do it. This is not a feel-good moment, but it requires my opponent to have like another Force plus blue card to take this out of play, and then all of a sudden Rest in Peace becomes lethal. Or I could just mill my opponent out. They are drawing 2 cards a turn. They have a Jace. They've probably used up most of the creatures in their deck. They've used 3 Endurance, 2 Uros, 1 Ice Fang. There's only a handful in there. There's a very chance that I could just, like, mill them for 12 or something like that and work towards a mill win. Alright. They've got another flash creature still, which is rough for me. Okay. Alright. I mean, they also could just have Swords to Plowshares. That's totally valid as well. Cool. Alright, we send it in. We see if we can do anything. Alright. I will cast or not cast, I will activate Helm of Obedience for a very large number at my opponent's end step. Hope to get a second creature, become the Monarch, and then maybe do something that matters. The other issue is that, like, this Jace is just continuously ticking up, and it's not too far away from ultimate either. Now? Maybe now. I don't want my opponent to, like, set things up, so this is awkward for me. Alright, X is 6. Here we go. I am unsure if it is a good thing to hit there. The reason not to do that is my opponent hasn't... Or no, they did activate Jace, right? Alright, the turns are blurring together. If they didn't activate yet, I wanted to wait, because otherwise I can Jace bounce the Uro and put it... Oh, God, they can just answer both. Cool. Alright, just hard cast Terminus. Sure. Alright. Cool. I think at this point I'm holding extra lands so that I have more cards in hand for a Jace ultimate. Alright, I'm getting Fate Sealed again. So basically, it has to be this next turn cycle. Cool. Alright, they get another card end step. Cool. Actually, maybe that's not true. My opponent does have to keep answering these creatures, right? I guess there's some world in which I can theoretically still win by dealing 5 points of damage to my opponent directly. Alright, round 4. Play turn 1 Trinisphere if I want. Like Mox Diamond, Caracas, City, Trinisphere, or Chalice. This hand is going to be a keep. Possible I'm supposed to just play the Chalice on turn 1. And then be able to keep the City around. And get to 4 mana. 4 mana is kind of important for this deck. I think I'm going to do that. A little less good in some ways, but I'll Lightning Bolt myself here. And see if this resolves. This lets me use the Chalice as a bait spell, and then play City and Trinisphere on turn 2, potentially around a Daze, if my opponent is on a Delver deck or something like that. Cool. We'll take those after the shit show that was last round. Okay. I guess this is one of those times where I need to MTG Goldfish my opponent and see what they've been playing recently. So their last results were with the Epic Storm. However, they play an absolute shit ton of Delver. So, like, those two things board very differently. I think ultimately that means that I just, like, if it's Epic, I guess let's look at overlaps cards. If it's Epic Storm, I probably want these, maybe want the Needle, want Mindbreak Traps. If it's Delver, I want 4 Swords to Plowshares, and that's it. Is there anything that I would cut against both of these decks? Probably not. I'm just gonna whack submit, and we'll play game 2 out however it plays out. I mean, my opponent conceded to a turn 1 Chalice last time. I guess I keep, but this hand is kind of shit. Like, if I go for the turn 1 Chalice, then I don't actually have anything else immediately. I am still going to keep this hand, because if my opponent is playing against Delver, I can pitch cast a Solitude. Alright, so they are playing Delver. Sure. I think I'll go to my turn now. Alright. What is the plan? I think I Solitude and then play City of Traders. Well, I think I play City of Traders, Solitude this, and then attempt Chalice. Oh, God, that's so bad. My mana is poop. This just play Solitude around Daze, naturally play Chalice. Yeah, I need this City to activate this Urza Saga long term. Yeah. Alright. I'll junk my Court of Grace here. Goodbye, Delver. And I'm opting to do this now to just better play around, like, Brainstorm into some other card that I care about. Yep, I mean, yep. Okay, I've got choices. I want to keep the City of Traders around. I might end up playing Chalice into Daze this turn. Am I playing Urza Saga this turn? Probably. Yeah, I think so. Maybe I need the persistent mana for a while still. Alright. Lightning Bolt land. I just absolutely assume that this does not resolve for one reason or another. Yeah, that's fine. But then next turn I can go Urza Saga, Trinisphere, and then work towards a couple of maybe largish constructs, or just jam a Humility if my opponent's stuff starts to get threatening. Archetype Regent will still be a problem, though. Alright. Fine. Price of playing a lot of non-basics. Alright, yeah, so my mana is still in a pretty bad spot. And I don't have white for this Humility either. So I get to choose one of two paths here. I get to choose the path of, like, just play Trinisphere, hope it resolves, and then they don't cast anything. Or I play the path of, like, Urza Saga, Retrofitter Foundry, try to make 2 largest constructs that beat my opponent. I'm not sure which is better. I'm going to try the Urza Saga based line, because it doesn't just walk into Daze quite the same way. Yep, do your thing, Dragon Rage Channeler. Okay, that's the 3rd type going to the graveyard. Wasteland would be horrendous for me. That's another reason to not have done the Trinisphere baseline. A 4th creature type, or a 4th card type going to the graveyard is also pretty bad for me, and they could have just set that up. Nope, they're just filtering lands out of the way. Yeah. Alright. So I take 1. Alright. This is obviously bad for me. So I will get to try and make a 2/2 that can block the Ragavan in combat. I could make it now to play around a Stifle, but that walks into like Chain Lightning stuff a little bit more. Guess I'll wait. Looks like my opponent is is playing a Murktide Regent, which pretty much means that this is GG, because now a Humility coming down isn't going to be good enough. Just not at all. That'll still be a 4/4. Alright, so opponent plays around losing a creature in combat. Cool. So I guess my path to victory now involves making these constructs large enough that I outsize Murktide Regent, which is pretty unlikely, honestly. I guess I'm getting a Mox Diamond here, and I'll discard this land. This will allow me to go ahead and just make a 2/2. Yes, I will do that now. If I get meltdowned, it's happening, it's taking everything out anyway. My opponent also might just clock me, you know, over the course of 2 to 3 turns with flyers, and I die that way. I could get some jump blocks in with the Retrofitter Foundry. Yep. I go to 10. That's bad. That's real bad. Alright. So now the question is, like, do I get to attack? So I could turn this into a Thopter and block here, and then not take lethal. So I could try to attack in for 10. But if I do that and it doesn't, and my opponent has a Lightning Bolt effect, Lightning Bolt goes to the token, and I die if this becomes bigger. I think I'm going for it, though. Like, life is not getting better here for me. Yeah, I'll just do the 10 here. I think that's fine. Try to save the most damage that I can. Okay. So in sort of an interesting position now, where I could choose to block the Ragavan, sacrifice the creature, make another 1/1, have 2 6/6s, turn them into 7/7s on my turn, and then if I draw like no, does Mox Diamond sacrifice itself if you don't? Yeah. I think I'm just gonna try to get the 6 life here, though. Alright. We'll see what my opponent hits with the Ragavan. Don't really care about your Chalice. Okay, that is a problem. This is kind of cute. It's just a Surveil 2. Shuts off Mox Diamond as an issue. Or future Mox Diamonds. Oh, do you have another Murktide here? Alright, absolutely not winning the game now. Things were dicey before. But that's just not gonna happen. Like, I can make 2 5/5s, my opponent just goes jump, jump. Absolutely obliterates me. Alright, GG's. So now I know that my opponent is playing Delver, so I will go ahead and bring in the 4 Swords to Plowshares. And now the question is, like, what comes out for those? Like, is it supposed to be the Chalice because, like, I'm bringing in 4 1-mana removal spells? Or what? It's a little hard to tell. I'm unsure. I just feel like a lot of the cards are going to be medium. Like, Chalice of the Void gives me some lockout potential and makes it so that it's mostly Murktide Regent that I care about. I might need to keep that, even though it's sort of awkward. Maybe I'm supposed to cut the Trinispheres. Just play denser with removal. Have 8 removal spells. Do I even want the fucking Humilities, though? Like, the Humilities shrink my opponent's creatures, but they make my Urza Sagas worse, which is supposed to be a major way that I'm winning this. Maybe I'm supposed to do this. I could see that on the play. Because, like, Humility is very bad versus Murktide Regent in particular. I could also, I guess, play Moat and try to assemble Moat plus Humility. Basically. Those are my thoughts. YOLO turn 1 Trinisphere, followed by YOLO turn 2 Trinisphere. I guess that's where we're at in life. Alright, Mox Diamond. I'll discard the legendary land in case I draw another. and I will attempt the turn 1 Trinisphere. Alright, as expected, it does not resolve. We got a Murktide for it, which is cool, though. And now I'm going to be in the super awkward position of, like, do I play the Trinisphere on turn 2 around a daze by sacrificing another land? Oh, great. Well, I'm probably playing Urza Saga this turn, so. Alright. Oh, I have to stack these, I see. And we'll cast this 3-ball, which is not the best once my opponent is already on board. Alright, we were never winning this game. Yeah, Ragavan plus double Force of Will, plus double blue card. Yeah, okay, cool. GG. I'll play it out because I have been playing out these miserable games. Alright, sure. Yeah, but like this Urza Saga construct token is going to be boltable. Alright. The thing's miserable enough now that I just concede. Probably. My opponent has unchecked Ragavan. I have... Oh, I hate this deck. Alright, I'm at 16. Opponent is like 1 mana away from just absolutely destroying me. Okay, I'm gonna concede to Court of Grace if they play it. I will not beat them being the Monarch, and I'm not suffering through another 20 minutes of this match. Yeah, alright. We're just conceding here. We're done with this one. Alright, final round here. I have an opening hand that has lands and spells, and I guess I keep. This hand doesn't really do stuff, but I also don't think it's bad enough to throw back either, which is a very weird middle ground to end up on. Okay. Alright, so we're probably playing against something of the combo Persuasion, which means if I can get to 3 mana for this Trinisphere, it's probably pretty good. We should be thinking Doomsday here, although other things are possible. We'll slowly chip away at my opponent's graveyard, although that probably doesn't matter too much because I'll probably just play Rest in Peace next turn. Unless we draw a Soul Land. Alright, we didn't draw a Soul Land. Because we drew Helm, I don't think I want to play the Urza Saga immediately. I think I'd rather just play Rest in Peace now. And then like play Urza Saga later where there's a chance I might get to enough mana to play and activate Helm. This is like a super awkward spot for me. So in terms of like this land disappearing would be disastrous for me. We also have this very sweet Relic of Progenitus Rest in Peace combo going on. All right. Yep, we are confirmed playing against Doomsday. Yep, there it is. All right. Yeah, I guess we just keep trying to not get rid of this Urza Saga for a Helm-based win. This Trinisphere should make things slightly awkward for my opponent. Then I just play Saga, Helm, and then hopefully win the following turn. Cool. Soul Land would be nice. Okay. Alright, that's scary. I could die now. Now, if my opponent doesn't have something that kills me immediately, I can also just resolve a Humility. And that shuts off Thassa's Oracle's ability, and probably wins me the game. Alright, seems like it's coming. Yep. Alright, looks like my opponent has figured out what their pile is. We'll see if I'm dead this turn. My opponent has like a card that draws something this turn. I am in trouble. Yeah, alright, I should be dead here. Cool. Let's take a quick look at this pile, see if there's any interesting. Double Edge of Autumn, Personal Tutors. Yeah, nothing too crazy here. Not a full playset of Dazes, it looks like. Looks like 2 Dazes. Okay, cool. Alright. I would like this Torpor Orb. I guess I'll play these Mindbreak Traps. They're kind of whatever. They won't always stop the things that I need them to stop. Scything Needle can sometimes do things, but it's kind of weak. I don't really want Relic of Progenitus. Don't really want these Solitudes. Yeah, because my opponent's probably not usually going to go for it with a pile that doesn't win. Let's get those out. That gives me these 3 cards, and I guess I'll play Gideon as another win condition. And Am I gonna Null Rod for their just, like, couple of Lotus Petals? I don't really wanna do that. Because shutting off these Mox Diamonds and, like, my Retrofitter Foundries can be super relevant. Also, like, Helm. God, why is this deck playing Null Rod if it is trying to win with Helm? Didn't notice that in the deck tech, but that's, like, super non-bo. Yeah, I just do not like how this deck is built at all. Alright, this is an incredibly aggressive Urza Saga hand, but I think I need to be playing lock pieces or my opponent will just beat me. I'm gonna mulligan this. Yeah, sure, this is fine. I'll keep this and put the Retrofitter back in the deck for Urza Saga. Alright. Go, Gadget, Chalice of the Void. It has resolved. So now we'll hope that the turn 4 Humility doesn't get dazed. Alright. Alright, correct that. Do I get another turn? Do I get another turn to play around daze? I think I do. I think I do. I think I'm just gonna go land and put this in my hand. We'll see if I regret that. My opponent kills me through a Chalice on turn 2. So be it. That's scary. Alright, so there's the Doomsday. Okay, my opponent has finally resolved their Doomsday. Alright, I am probably supposed to play this around double days here, because it's very important that this resolves. Let's cast this. Discard this. Play this. Cast Humility. Okay, it resolved. That's very good for me. I'm not super expecting my opponent to have an answer to Humility. Like, it can happen, but I don't know that that's going to be one of those things that's super actively on my opponent's radar. Okay. We've bought at least one more turn, which means that I can now play a threat. I don't think Rest in Peace is going to be relevant here, so I will just play the threat. Actually, no, straight up, my opponent is going to deck themselves before I would kill them with Kahira, because it would take 9 attacks because of Humility. I'll just play Rest in Peace. Alright. I'll exile those cards, and I guess I play a second one. I don't need white cards in my hand to pitch for any reason. Alright. They're playing like they have outs, so maybe they have something. The Chain of Vapor type stuff is off because of Chalice of the Void. Alright, there's a cycle of Street Wraith. Okay. Alright, I respect killing yourself there. Alright. On the draw, am I supposed to play Null Rod? And shut off 4 of my win conditions and my Mox Diamonds. And my Relic and my Retrofitter Foundry. Maybe. You know, maybe this thing wins the game enough of the time that I can just do this. Ugh. Just yuck. This is a turn 2 Trinisphere. Got stable mana. I have a very good turn 2 play. And technically a turn 1 play as well that can, like, try to go into a Helm kill. I guess this is fine. Alright, so my opponent's got something fast. It's bad for me. This is also bad for me. I'm going to lose either the Trinisphere or the Mox Diamond. Either one of these things slows me down substantially. Alright, yeah, I am losing the Trinisphere kind of as expected. Okay, this is quite good. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and junk my Caracas here, as it is legendary. And I will go ahead and play this out. Alright. Are we going to run into, like, Lotus Petal into Doomsday this turn? No, we could still run into, like, Dark Ritual and Doomsday. Okay, is that just the turn? Just the turn. Okay. I think I play Helm next turn, because I can play Helm around Daze next turn. Kind of. I mean, my opponent can Daze it, and then I can't activate it, which is a problem, but I think this Chalice is good enough that I attempt it here. There's also an argument to just put this on 0, and just put Kahira in my hand. Alright, so we'll see if my opponent has the Doomsday. Alright, double fetch seems to indicate yes. Alright, seems like I'm getting another turn here. Alright, I mean, let's see. Opponent has 3 cards. Double Daze will do it here. Single Daze will buy them another turn, which probably also causes them to win. Yep. Alright, cool. Alright, so the floating 3 mana, so that's going to be an Edge of Autumn. And then I should just be dead. Yep. Alright, great league. We're dead. Alright, so that was a 1-4 league, and the one we won was only because our Death and Taxes opponent just punted 2 games in a row, more or less unquestionably. This deck is just bad. I just hate to be blunt here, but I think everything about this deck is bad. Uh, like, you're playing a billion 4-drops in a hyper-aggressive, low-to-the-ground format. Chalice and Trinisphere are the worst they've ever been. You have an exceptionally high number of double, or in one case, triple white pip things in a deck with, I believe it is 12 colorless only producing lands. And in addition, you're not particularly good at protecting yourself from Court of Grace, which is like one of the cards this deck is built around. And if you can't like keep and maintain the Monarch, like it's not good. You also have a very low white count for Solitude. You have a companion that is not perhaps worth the deck building restriction. You have null rods in your deck where you're trying to win with activated abilities of artifacts. It's just bad. And I don't think it's salvageable. I think this is one of those things where like you scrap the deck idea and you start over. This one does not work. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed me being miserable for the last 2 hours. If you did, please click the like button. It will help, me feel good and replace some of the tears my soul has cried in the last hour and a half or 2 hours. Have a great rest of the day, folks. I'll see you tomorrow.